Well, hello there, and welcome to Guitar Builder's Life Hack, the show where I show you some of the things that I've made to make guitar building easier for myself. I hope you'll enjoy this show. Let me know in the comments below if you did, and if you think any of these things that I'm showing you are useful to you. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so the next tool that I have to show you here now is a very simple and easy thing. Let's imagine for a second that that you've bought maybe, let's say, a kit guitar, a Telecaster, and you're doing the thing that a lot of people are doing. Basically, you are buying new parts for the body and the neck, new tuners, a new bridge, and so on. And you're just using the wood as a base for the guitar you're going to make. Well, you bought a new bridge and you realize that it needs to be drilled out for ferrules because it's a through string body and not a top mounted string body. And you think to yourself, it's not a big deal, I have a perfectly good pillar drill and I can just drill those holes. And you do it and you think everything looks great, but then you put the ferrules in and everything is still misaligned, and you're thinking to yourself, why is this? And you look at the bridge on top of the body and you can see that, oh, I measured out where the holes were going to be, but then I didn't drill the perfect center of those out-measured holes that I was going to drill. You basically screwed yourself over. Well, I have the tool to fix that. And it's a super easy tool to make. It's super easy to make. And it's these little pieces of plexiglass, and all you need to do is you cut a long strip of plexiglass like this, and then you take a drill bit, and first you take a drill bit that looks like this. It's called a brad point bit, and the way you know what to look for is that it has a tiny little spike sticking out in the middle of it. These are made to cut wood. Don't use them for anything else. And they're not really supposed to be used for this, but we're using them for the acrylic just a tiny bit. You're not drilling through the acrylic, you're just drilling deep enough to make the sides score a perfect circle around. And once you've done that, you drill out the hole with a very tiny, like 1mm or 2mm drill bit that are for metal working. And that gives you a perfect little see-through circle. And what you can do then, let's imagine this is a hole that you need to drill. You can just align them, you see? And make sure, if you align the circles, you can see where you have to drill. It was very hard to show in the camera. Anyway, and all you can do then with this is you poke with a needle or a nail or maybe an awl if you have one. You can make your own awl. It's a very easy thing to do. And then you know exactly where to drill. Because finding the center of a circle is, maybe you think I can eyeball that, but if you're off just a tiny bit, and this is a 10mm because I make all different sizes. On a 10mm, sometimes, that doesn't really matter that much. Drilling a hole, if it's off just a tinsy tiny wincy bit, it might not matter that much. People won't see something that big. But then you have all these other ones that are like super tiny, and when the holes become really tiny, being off just a tiny amount, like a 1/10 of a millimeter, can really become an eyesore. And if you've ever tried drilling out the ferrules for a Telecaster, for example, and you've looked at this, you will know that that's actually a difficult thing to do. Making those holes through the body align perfectly is something that takes some practice, and I've been there where I've done it, and I thought that I did everything perfectly, and then I look at it and I think to myself, wow, these holes are not straight. There's something wrong. And I used my pillar drill and I measured everything out and I did a perfect job, and I then look at the alignment when the bridge is on and I can see that, oh, I didn't center the center of the holes or the circles to drill them. And it hurts to have to plug those holes up and try to re-drill them and make it look like you didn't make mistakes. You can obviously do that, don't worry. Everything is fixable. But I'd rather not make mistakes if I can help it. So this is a tiny little tool, and I hope you liked it. And I hope you make them, because it's super easy to make. It's not a very expensive thing to do. You can just buy a tiny piece of acrylic for maybe $1 or $2, and then just, cut them into strips. And you can make all different sizes. You can make, really big one. Which, is not a bad idea. It can actually be really, really useful. Maybe not for guitar building. Well, for guitar building, if you think about things like maybe a Les Paul centered switch. But, yeah. It could be a really good idea. So, it's a very simple thing to make. So, make them. Well, there's the show. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you did. And also, if you wouldn't mind giving this a thumbs up, or maybe even subscribing. That will let me know if this is appreciated and if you want to see more of this. But until next time, see ya.